AOA podcast back for another episode, Memorial Day weekend version. Light news day, but some big hefty stories, even though we don't have a lot of them. We have a Jeffrey Epstein update. It looks like there's going to be a new class action lawsuit, plus Jamie Dimon's deposition. We'll get into that. And this Brian Laundrie note is just like beyond. I mean, it's an insane letter that was obtained by CNN. Crazy stuff there. Going to share it with you all right here on this episode. So we're actually going to start with the Brian Laundrie note, which I think is just crazy. Not entirely sure if this note was the. Actually, I am. This was the note that was recovered in Brian Laundrie's backpack. What we're not entirely sure of is when exactly this note was written. But if you remember in those days that they were searching for Laundrie in the swamplands and trying to find him, when his parents got involved, and then magically they were able to discover the backpack and some of his remains. Well, in that backpack, there was a note. And we opined back then whether or not we were ever going to find out, figure out, realize, discover what that note exactly was going had in it, and now we do. And it's thanks to CNN, and it's also thanks to this ongoing case that's going on between the Laundries and the Petitos, where the Petitos are suing the Laundries over everything that happened. But what's interesting about this note is it's addressed to Brian, and it says burn after reading. And in there, and I'll read you some of the note here, but in the note is a bunch of phrases and sayings and different lines about how Brian Laundrie's mother would do basically anything for Brian, even quote unquote help him dispose of a body. So obviously kind of makes it feel like it's dead to rights against the Laundries for aiding in their son disappearing for days and trying to get away with the murder of Gabby Petito. Easy to rush to those conclusions, which, I'm not saying you can't, but I am going to say this, that the Laundrie's position is that this letter was written long ago, before even the two of them went on this cross-country journey, which turned out to be fatal for Gabby and then eventually for Brian as well. So the note that was obtained from his backpack, I'll read you a couple of lines from it here. I just want you to remember, this is from Roberta Laundrie to her son. I just want you to remember, I will always love you, and I know you will always love me. You are my boy. Nothing can make me stop loving you. Nothing will or could ever divide us, no matter what we do or where we go or what we say. We will always love each other. If you're in jail, I will bake a cake with a file in it. If you need to dispose of a body, I will show up with a shovel and garbage bags. If you fly to the moon, I will be watching the skies for your reentry. If you say you hate my guts, I'll get new guts. Remember that love is a verb, not a noun. It's not a thing. It's not words. It's actions. Watch people's actions to know if they love you, not their words. Therefore, I am certain that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor the ruling spirits, nor things, this is a Romans quote, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers from above, nor powers from below. Nothing in the entire created world can separate our love. Neither hostile powers, nor messengers of heaven, nor monarchs of earth. Nothing has the power to separate us. That's Romans 8:38. So she put that in the into the note here. So a couple of weird things that like give you chills. The whole, if you need to dispose of a body, I'll show up with a shovel and a garbage bag. Kind of crazy. But I gotta say, the idea, don't come at me, the idea that this was written before this all happened is plausible. I mean, it's totally plausible. You could see that. And you could see it being something that maybe meant something to this kid. And in this moment of, running from the authorities. Maybe it's something that he always kept in his room or whatever and grabbed it, threw it in his bag and went. I don't know. That doesn't mean that the parents are innocent in all of this, the Laundries. Doesn't mean that at all. Doesn't mean that I don't think that they still tried to hide him or help him escape or throw the cops off of the scent so that he could possibly get away. Doesn't mean any of that. I still think that in my heart of hearts, my opinion only, don't sue me, allegedly. I think that they helped him or tried to help him get away. I do. But the idea that this was written before all that, probably. And because I say that because of the whole, if you're in jail, I'll bake a cake with a fire. I mean, this sounds like something a mom would write to a son on a 18th birthday or 21st birthday or after a really big fight or a bad period or something like that. I know a lot of parents, struggle with alcoholism. They'll write notes like this to people to apologize, to make relationships better. So who knows what it could have been, or it could have been, the fact that it did come after all this. I tend to think that if she was going to write a note like this to him, it would be more pointed at the current situation. That's just my opinion. But it certainly doesn't bode well. And also, make no mistake about it, it wound up in his bag while he was on the run. So either she gave it to him or he took it. But the fact that it was there and it was present in one of those moments just goes to show you a mother's undying love for her son and what she'll do to protect him, even if it's something horrible after he's done something horrible. So all in all, a tough situation. This was, again, obtained by CNN. They were the first ones to get this. But it was presented in their court case, which is going on right now in the 12th Judicial Circuit Court. That judge over there, Daniel Brewer, has yet to rule on the admissibility of this letter. There was a lengthy back and forth when this letter was presented in court. Both parties agreed that a confidentiality order was not necessary to keep the letter under seal. Brewer determined that the letter could be relevant to the case and the plaintiff lawyers should at least get a copy. In court, Petito family attorney Patrick Riley argued that the letter was important in their lawsuit against the Laundrie family. He said, quote, "As we all know, the letter references burying a body, bringing a shovel, and burying a body. Those are criminal acts, by the way, that Roberta Laundrie has said she would commit." The Laundries have argued in court filings that they had no duty to the Petito family. So, yeah, that's an argument that's going to go on. Again, this is a lawsuit between two people. Judge will decide what's right here. But, on the one hand, it's not great for Roberta Laundrie. It's not a great look. But on the other hand, I mean, let's be realistic. What mother wouldn't say this to their child? I mean, every parent feels this for their child. They do. You just hope in a situation like this, even though you want to protect yourself. I mean, see, where I feel like the Laundries failed is they should have helped their son get turned in because, a lifetime of, life in prison to me is better than having this kid hide out in the swamps for days and then getting eaten by an alligator, So, although if I remember correctly, JSAB still doesn't believe that his remains were his. So who knows? If according to JSAB, this guy might be sipping Mai Tai somewhere. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But when your kids do something horrific, you do want to help them. That doesn't necessarily mean escaping. Maybe sometimes that means helping guide them into, doing the right thing. And, the main problem here again is that he's not around to answer the questions of the Petitos, right? I mean, that's the worst part about all of this. You want him to get his comeuppance. You want him to serve life in prison, of course. But also he would have been able to provide a whole slew of answers for the Petitos as to why this happened, perhaps how it happened, all the horrific details that you don't think you'd want to know that sometimes you do or you need to know in order to heal and move on. They all denied them of that, and that's a tragic case. Speaking of case, it looks like we're going to get a major class action lawsuit against the Epstein estate here. By all accounts, this J.P. Morgan, Jeffrey Epstein, thing that has been brewing for quite some time now. And remember, this has all been led by one single Jane Doe. It is one Jane Doe that has been leading this charge in suing J.P. Morgan Chase in their role in Epstein's trafficking, scheme. Right now, they're judging the merit on whether or not they can make that a class action lawsuit, meaning that all of the Epstein victims that have come forward would be able to take part in this suit. And it looks like that is going to be the case. Now, the ruling on this is not done yet, but experts, by all accounts, looking at a whole bunch of things. Law and Crime has a nice article on this, that all of the elements are there in order to turn this into a class action lawsuit. And I agree with it. I'm not a law expert, but I am a podcast host. You have a microphone in front of me. So a little bit of expertise there. And it's true. I mean, if they aided and helped him in all of this, a class action lawsuit, the 4 criteria, numerosity, commonality, matters of law and fact, typicality, meeting common interests, all that stuff, it comes into play. So it looks like this is going to become a class action lawsuit, which, like I said, by all accounts, it really should be. Now, what's interesting here is, did JP Morgan help Jeffrey Epstein? I feel like that's what they're alleging, and I think yes, in my own opinion. Did they profit off of it? That's still to be seen, because that's going to be a whole nother thing if they can prove that they profited off of their relationship with this criminal. And that's not a great thing for JP Morgan Chase. So Jess Staley and all that in the lawsuit, they've got a lot to answer to. Second part of this is Jamie Dimon. We do know earlier today did testify. He was deposed. 2 cases this is involved with. He was at JP Morgan headquarters today, and he did answer questions. Unable to find out for how long. No statement has been released publicly as of right now, but he did sit for his deposition, which is huge. That's a pretty big deal. So anything else breaks on that, of course, we'll definitely let you know. But we do know that he was deposed in both of those lawsuits. So that's a good thing that at least he sat down for that. The Google founders, the Google guy, still can't find that sumbitch. I don't know where he is. Hiding off on an island somewhere. But at least to his credit, Jamie Dimon sat there in that position. So at least we're a little step closer there and getting some justice. That is it for us. I know this was a quick episode. It is Memorial Day weekend. A lot of you are probably vacationing already. In case you couldn't tell, this was a pre-record that we did earlier today. So appreciate you guys for hanging around on that one. Wanted to make sure that we got these kind of important updates, out to you, because these are stories that, we've been following since forever. We've been following these stories since the beginning of time. So I didn't want to let like a day go by without not talking about this, because the original plan was to take an extended day off here, Friday and Monday. We will be off on Monday. We'll be back, of course, with you guys next Wednesday. So hope everybody has a great Memorial Day. Hope you share this around. Make sure you spread the word on all the Epstein stuff and, of course, the Brian Laundrie stuff. I know we got a lot of fans that are always interested in that story, which hasn't come to a conclusion yet. So make sure you guys share this. Make sure you guys are all subscribed up. Make sure you become a member. That would be tremendous. We got some exclusive member perks, including one that we're going to put up this weekend at some point over the Memorial Day holiday. We have video of Janine spanking Frank. And this is a hot tip, CNN exclusive, much like the Laundrie note. We were able to get this from a source, and let me tell you something, hot video, very hot video. and that'll go up in the members only area. So if you want to see that, make sure that you are a member. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thinking of all those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. We'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.